I was on everyone's favorite site today, eBay, and this suggestion came up, and it really prompted me to think about an early fan I bought with my own money. And this fan is quite rare in my mind because you just don't see them. So this was on eBay, and unfortunately, this particular unit is missing the label on the front guard, but the seller has it listed as MCM. So is that McMillan brand? The one I had in particular was actually Eastern Electric. And it's weird because I know Lasko is behind Eastern Electric, of course, as a rebrand, or Eastern's a rebrand, a rebadge. But for whatever reason, in a part of the country that I live, the Eastern brand was quite common. Like you saw them as much as Lasko. And in fact, I thought when I was really young, I thought Lasko was a copy of Eastern Electric. That's just how many, you just saw them everywhere. And as a youngster, I lived anywhere from New Jersey up to Massachusetts. So I don't really know what the point of the rebrand was and why it was done. I don't like. I can understand what Lasco's trying to do with Air King. They're trying to separate it into more of a commercial type product. I get that, but from a consumer standpoint, it's actually looking back, it's actually kind of quite confusing. Like, why Eastern over Lasco when it's really the same thing? So this one, and people not necessarily believe me, but or not believe me. They when I say, oh yeah, there used to be this 7 blade Eastern Electric box fan, like the 10-inch or 12-inch, whatever this is. And then they also, I remember vague memory as a little boy. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My neighbors 2 doors down had a full-size box fan. I can't remember if it was branded Eastern or Lasko or even Sears, because Sears did that too. And it had 7 blades on it, and I was just like blown away by that. I was like, what on earth? Because we're all used to the D blades they had on them, and I think it was an Eastern Electric, because I think that's what they did to kind of separate them a little bit, is to put 7 blades on it. But someone probably said, well, that's more manufacturing cost, your materials. I don't know if it made a difference from an air movement standpoint, and that would be an interesting test. Unfortunately, I don't have a 7 blade fan, and I seriously considered this auction online here, and it's just killing me that it doesn't have the label. Otherwise, I would just do the checkout now option and buy it. Usually when, thankfully, I'm in a situation in my life where if there's something in the fan universe that I want, I'll just pull the trigger on it, even if I'm overpaying for it. But I just know, to me, it's special to me if it's one that I'm really desiring for my collection. And I am desiring this fan for my collection, but it just doesn't have that label. And I really, if it's not an Eastern Electric, I would be okay if it was branded Lasko or something else, even though I had an Eastern Electric, because these are just so rare and they're the same thing. So the story goes, in 1985, I was 7 years old, and at the time living in Massachusetts. And I said, I live anywhere from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and back and forth again. But in 85, I lived in Massachusetts. I was with my mom and my 2 sisters. My one sister's 2 years younger than me. My other sister would have been just over a year old. So my mom, it's 1985, is dragging us to the mall. And I just remember the mall for whatever reason. maybe we stopped somewhere else first and then went to the mall. I don't remember. And I really wanted a box fan. Like, when do I not want a box fan? And of course, my mom was like, "Well, you're using your own money." So I didn't have enough money for a full size box fan. And I had bought an Eastern Electric when I was 5. And I tell that story in another video of like a regular 20-inch box fan, or maybe they were even billed as 22-inch back then. And I think I tell a story where the switch was bad on it. My parents made me throw it out. Ugh, it just pains me. But now was my chance to buy another box fan. So I'm 2 years older, so I'm 7 now. Old age is 7. And all I could afford was, and I thought it was just cool looking, this size fan. And I bought it. And what I remember very vividly is my mom drove a 1981 Buick Century. It was silver with black velour interior. And I remember getting in the back seat. I think I let my sister ride in the front seat because I wanted to play with my fan on the car ride home. And I remember taking it out of the box and holding it up to the window just to get a vision of what it would look like in a window. And that fan lasted. So if that was 85, I remember moving. And I lived in different places over the years, but I remember making a move. I was staying at my mom's for a little while, and I had that fan there kind of in storage or whatnot, because it's ridiculous to use it in a full-size window. And so that would have been when I was moving out of there to my apartment in 2006. So I had that fan as a kid, never serviced it, cleaned it. Like, yeah, of course I wiped it down and whatnot, but I never like oiled it. It still worked perfectly. It didn't get abused, that's for sure. And I typically, I remember in the 90s in my room in New Jersey, I had a really large bedroom. My parents had a beautiful large home, 5-bedroom home on several acres. And my bedroom was this large room over the garage, basically. And it would get hot. The reason why I say the garage, because it would just get hot. A home that big, and the home wasn't that old. Had the ductwork complete for central air, but the previous owners never put the central air in. And my parents were like, "We don't need air conditioning." Although ironically now they can't live without it, but they're old now. And I mean, they were young then; they were in their 30s. So. What I did in the 90s is I would have my Edison comfort fan on exhaust in my window, my ceiling fan on, and then this little Eastern Electric on my tall dresser pointed at my bed. And that would be like my secondary, like, kind of fan in my room. Did that for years. And, when I moved out, whatever, I put it in storage and just made sure I took care of it. I can't remember if the handle was still intact by the time I retired it, but what I remember is, here's how I unfortunately parted ways with it. When I was moving from my mother's to my apartment, my sister and her boyfriend were helping. He had a truck, and he was also taking stuff to the dump, or I don't know. I forget exactly where it was going. And my girlfriend at the time, she and I briefly touched on this story in another video when I'm talking about my full size Eastern Electric. I have a full size mid 80s Eastern Electric fan, or it's really my son's, but it's a 5-blade, it's not a 7-blade. It has the D blades on it, but it's still a beautiful fan. It's in primo shape. So what had happened with this fan is the screws, I forget on which grill, which side kind of vibrated out, and I think I was two screws short. And what I did, I think in a pinch, took a little piece of duct tape and just kind of like put it on the cabinet on the grill, just a small piece to hold it in place. Well, when it was in the garage and I was going to move it to my apartment, and I was living alone. My girlfriend wasn't moving in with me. And I guess the duct tape kind of was just worn out, so the grill was kind of like flapping at the top because the two top screws were missing I think it was the back side, because I think I had all the screws intact on the front side because that's the side that was facing me. My girlfriend saw that and she was like, "What are you doing with this little fan? Like, it looks old and it's falling apart. Just get rid of that." And I was like, no. I was like, I'm gonna use it. She's like, "You have a 1-bedroom apartment that's air conditioning. Why would you need this fan?" It's like, "No, you don't understand." And in a moment of weakness, I don't know what it was, I said, "Fine." I can't believe it. And I'm very sentimental. And the fact that as a 7-year-old, I saved up money to buy it and it lasted all these years, I don't know what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. Like, I feel like this video is more of a confession of my screw up. I could have easily had that fan today still. And it would be cool to say at the ripe old age of 46 that I had a fan that I bought when I was 7. How cool would that have been? The best I can do is tell you I still have a fan from when I bought from when I was 19. My 97 Lasko 3733, which I've well documented on this channel. So anyway, I'll wrap this one up. I just thought I saw this and it sparked a story, and I've been kind of doing that lately when I see this. I apologize for the poor camera quality, and like it's like the monitor's crooked, the tripod, trying to. Anyway, this is, yeah, it has a really super wide cabinet. It's basically a mini me. The backside never had, much like its big brother, the big brother Eastern Lasko, whatever, never had a tag on the, or badge on the back, just on the front. You can see where the glue gave way. I mean, I'm sure you can print one, and, that could be something to do. I just don't have the means to print something like that. Like, I don't know how you would do that. Maybe if somebody chimes in the comments and that can help me, then maybe I'll just snag this one. Let me know, because I'm sure it'll be gone. Although it's very expensive to buy these things on eBay, so maybe not. Well, thanks for watching, and thanks for the therapy session and confessions of a fan of one that I let go, that I regret letting go. And this is kind of a unicorn fan with the 7 blades, being that it was an Eastern Electric, and maybe this one in the listing, vintage MCM. I don't know what that is. McMillan? Somebody could let me know. Somebody has it in their cart. Get that out of your cart. Let me buy it. Well, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. And if anyone knows more about this, I would love to hear from you. Lamont, Sammy, you guys tend to know way more than I do. Even Tori, especially if you're out there, would love to hear it. See you next time.